Hello everybody, Disciple here with Hearthstone Curios. So first off, I want you guys to imagine Hearthstone with just minions. Now I'm sure you can imagine that it would probably be pretty boring and even more curve-stone-ish than Hearthstone has been in even the worst metas. Spells and weapons really help add flavor and variety to the game, and especially removal lets you interact with your opponent's board in very interesting and strategic ways. But not all removal is created equal, and so that's why today we thought we'd go through our list of the 10 best single target removal spells in Hearthstone. Now most of them are very well designed, and while some of them might be a little bit too strong, it's still really important that we have most of these in the game. And now our list might vary a little bit from yours, but we can promise that all of these are very powerful. Now let's get right into it. First up, it is Execute. Cheap removal spells that can kill huge minions are insanely strong since they often let you develop your own huge threats in the same turn, creating a huge tempo swing. Execute pretty much fits the bill on that one, and it's not too uncommon to see it played alongside a solid late game control minion. Now it does require a little bit of setup, and it did get nerfed as well from its original 1 mana version, but that hasn't stopped it from appearing in tier 1 decks since, and it has and always will be one of the best removal spells in the game. It's so cool that it synergizes so well with the warrior class as well, since they have so many abilities that focus on damaging minions, and the fact that Execute is one of those spells just means it perfectly fits the flavor of the class. Next up, we also have a warrior card with Shield Slam. Now the fact that Shield Slam can take out huge minions for just 1 mana is insane, and in the past it would allow for plays like Ysera or Alex along with a Shield Slam to kill their best minion, completely swinging the board around. Now of course it does require a lot of armoring up or other cards that work with it like Shield Block, which is why we haven't seen too much of it as of late, but once we return to any sort of armor heavy control warrior decks, it should be really powerful again. The biggest issues right now being that gaining armor isn't really that important against most matchups, and board control is what's really supreme, and there are other cards that can give you the board control just as well, or maybe a little bit worse, with the trade-off of not having to gain armor at all. Moving on, let's talk about Hex. I'm sure you guys have pretty mixed feelings about this one, since Hex lets you remove pretty much any minion in the entire game without triggering their death rattle effect if they have one, and it's just for the price of 3 mana. There's really no way any mid-range shaman deck wouldn't run this card in most metas, and it's incredibly efficient at what it does considering polymorph and similar effects are all more expensive. Just look at something like Rogue that has Assassinate for 5 mana, and Hex does its job even better at the small cost of leaving around a 0/1 with Taunt, and you can see how this card is insane. Way too many Tyrion Forge Rings and Sylvanas have been turned into frogs over the course of Hearthstone, and we don't expect it to stop anytime soon since this is in the Evergreen set. Up next, it's actually Lightning Bolt. Now, Lightning Bolt is kind of an awful removal spell if your opponent has something like a Tyrion, but in the early game, Lightning Bolt completely dominates, letting you kill your opponent's early plays for just 1 mana, while also buffing things like your Tunnel Trog, which is fortunately rotated out, or just letting you have a huge tempo swing early on to develop a strong board. Cheap removal can be just as important as expensive removal, especially if your goal is to overwhelm the opponent early, and especially when a lot of strong early game decks are in the meta, like Pirate Warrior or Zoo Warlock. And Bolt just gives you a rate that you can't see anywhere else for its cost, despite the fact that you pay for it with a little bit of overload later on. Not to mention it can and frequently does go face as well in order to win you the game. Now up next, it's a bit of an older card that a lot of us have forgotten about, but it's still pretty insane, and that's Entomb. Entomb is insanely powerful since it lets you not only remove a minion regardless of Divine Shield or Death Rattle or anything else other than cannot be targeted by spells, but it also lets you draw that same valuable minion later on and puts you farther from fatigue and control mirrors, which isn't necessarily as common now, but it definitely did happen back when you'd play a very grindy control priest. 6 mana is fairly expensive as far as removal goes, but the fact that Entomb lets you deal so cleanly with any threat, and it also gives you the benefit of drawing that threat later on to boot, is pretty insane. Sometimes you'll have to entomb something that you just don't want to draw over the other cards in your deck, which is a bit of a drawback, but the fact that you're able to remove it from your opponent's board without triggering any sort of death rattle is really, really big, and the fact that you can seal things like the opponent's Tyrion with it just made it a ridiculously strong card that you had to have at least one of in pretty much any priest deck. Now next up, on the other side of the equation, it's Backstab. Much like Lightning Bolt, the fact that Backstab is such good cheap removal makes it crazy powerful. However, Backstab doesn't even necessarily have to be used in a more aggressive deck like Lightning Bolt, since it has a ton of synergies in rogue decks like Gadgetzan Auctioneer, and any combo enabling or spell damage and more. Overall, Backstab is insanely valuable for almost any rogue deck, is one of the only good 0 mana spells in the game, and actually does a pretty solid job of helping you kill things, especially with your hero power as well. Backstab will probably be a staple in Rogue for as long as it remains unchanged, as long as Rogue has some way to keep drawing cards. Next, let's talk about Mulch. Now, Mulch has definitely been very powerful at certain parts of the meta, but I also think it's one of the most interesting and well-designed removal cards we've ever had in Hearthstone. I just absolutely love that it's a very cheap, efficient removal spell, which is something that Druid really didn't have for quite a long time, and also the fact that the drawback really isn't all that bad when you're playing something like Constructed. The ability to remove an early 8/8 from your Reno or Handlock opponent is incredibly powerful, and the fact that you give them a random minion most of the time really doesn't mean anything, since if they get to the point where they just have to play anything from their hand, the game is probably pretty much over and you really should have won before that point. But the fact that it can give them any sort of minion means it's usually going to be pretty bad, meaning that Mulch is just a very powerful card overall and is essentially just 3 mana destroy a minion. Now, there are the drawbacks of occasionally giving your opponent some fuel, and it's not really great in a top deck war since you could give them a big drop that they could play immediately after, but still, it really carried Druid through a lot of the recent metas, and I'd love to see a card like it come out in the future for Druid as well. Moving on, it's Shadow Word Death. Being able to remove something giant for only 3 mana, like we just said, is an incredibly good tempo swing, and it often leads you to be able to slam a big creature or threat of your own in the same turn as well. Shadow Word Death is more expensive than something like Execute or Shield Slam, but it also doesn't require any setup on your own beyond your opponent just having a big minion, which is the type of thing you would just want to use a removal spell on anyway. Shadow Word Death is great efficient removal for when there are a lot of big creatures in the meta, and it will stay that way for a very long time, since being able to kill them for 3 mana is awesome, since all of them are going to cost more than 3 mana themselves, bar something like Magma Rager. Now up next, it's Ssiphon Soul. Ssiphon is great because it's a removal spell that can kill anything, and it gains you a little bit of life, which is almost always what you're looking for in controlling Warlock decks like Handlock or Arena Lock variants. Ssiphon does suffer a little bit against death rattles, and costing 6 can sometimes be annoying, but much like Entomb, it deals with any big threat and has an extra bonus to boot, making it an awesome removal spell and one of the best ones Warlock has access to. Now, pitted up against all of the others on the list so far, this is actually probably the worst one of all, but the fact that it's in Warlock is what makes it great, since Warlock does really need that extra health most of the time if they are tapping, and the fact that they can have so many cards in their hand at any time gives them so much flexibility, and if Ssiphon is one of those possibilities for them to cast, that's just that much better. Last but not least, we have Implosion. The awesome thing about Implosion back during its reign of terror in Standard was just how big of a swing it could create, especially in combination with things like Knife Juggler. Rolling a 4 on Implosion often put you so far ahead that you won the game for sure, and while rolling a 2 did put you a little bit behind, a high risk, high reward card is exactly what you were looking for when you were trying to win a game and you were far behind already. The ability to put you right back in the game, or to completely close out the game if you were already winning, and just the sheer value of it being a removal spell while also creating tokens on your board that could also be buffed with something like Mal'Ganis, made it one of the best removal spells in the game back when it was in Standard, and Zoo was so powerful. Anyway, those are my thoughts on what I think are some of the best single target removal spells in all of Hearthstone. Now they're all very powerful, and while some of them might be better designed than others, I think they're all super interesting in their own right. My favorite designed ones have definitely got to be Execute, Mulch, and Entomb, but there's also just so much power in things like Shadow Word Death and Shield Slam and Implosion back when it was in Zoo that you really can't count those out. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate it, and we love seeing you guys here at every video. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Peace.